Yeah, just a little video, you know, out here doing some late night Ubering. But I was just thinking about some of the stuff that I'm going through, some of the stuff that other people may be going through. I'm having trouble getting in the trucking industry because they talking about they require a 10-year work history. And I just started thinking about that, 10-year work history. No matter what kind of work it is, something that don't have nothing to do with driving a truck. Got the credentials, because I got gaps in employment. They want to tell me that I need to have filled gaps in employment. I can't have them unaccounted for gaps in my work history. What kind of shit is that, man? I was just thinking about it. Who is that really targeting that? They say they don't discriminate against by race, creed, and all that, color, sexuality, or disability, and all that stuff. But that work history can be used to target people by race and by disability, right? And by other categories. Now, how could it target people by race? Well, most or a lot of black people, don't really have consistent work history like that. 10 years straight with no gaps. Or even if they had like 5 years, they can be like 21 and up, 18 and up. You still drive a truck at 18, you just can't leave the state, until you're 21. But hell, somebody just come fresh out of college, how they gonna have a 10-year work history? See what I'm saying, folks? Or you might have 5 years. What does a work history have to do with trucking? I mean, like, you can have 10 years as a janitor, mopping floors. You gonna apply that to trucking? Somebody say, well, they want to see your work ethic. That don't have nothing to do with work ethic from one category to the next, unless the jobs are similar. If you was a dump truck driver or a school bus driver coming to trucking, then that would make more sense. That say 10 years as a school bus driver, that may carry over as a semi-truck driver. There's some similarities there. Basically, a school bus driver is like a box truck driver. There's some similarities. So you have work ethic, you can say that would apply to that. But you're a janitor, man. That don't necessarily mean you can be 20 years into janitorial work and go into trucking and hate the shit out of it. It's a different kind of lifestyle, man. Like, for one, you gotta love to drive, or enjoy driving, or don't mind driving. I'm putting a lot of hours. I put a lot of hours on my car now. Wear and tear. Now I gotta rent them. I can do driving, and that's why trucking is a suitable job for me. I can drive for long hours, 8 to 12 hours a day. I used to do that just joyriding years ago, back in the day, for nothing, for free. So now I'm getting paid for it. And here it is. I'm thinking about going into trucking. But I just thought about it. I said, I'm making damn near the same thing doing Uber that I'll be making in trucking, man. At least my first 1 or 2 years in trucking. I had to take a refresher course. I didn't really get into it heavy in the first place. I just calculated, adding the math up like that. It's basically the same thing. But the only thing I would like about trucking is it got the potential where I can become an owner operator. That's really what trucking shines. It's not, trucking doesn't shine much as an employee. It's always the owner-operator thing was more appealing. You know. But yeah, you got these trucking companies, one in particular, you know, named after something that's real fast or implying something real fast. They want to try to tell me I need a 10-year work history, man. Like, man, yeah, I got a sketchy work history, you know. So it is a black man out here. I'm not a criminal. I've never been in prison. You know, so it's like I'm a citizen. Like, they just using that to weed me out because they know I'm black. I bet you if I was an immigrant coming from the South, they don't have no red tape. I bet you they get in with the quickness, man. You think some kind of south of the border immigrant is going to be going through what I'm going through? They get a clean slate, clean credit, money in their pocket every month, place to stay, nice place to stay. Like, man, that's a way of screening somebody out. Now how could they screen somebody out on disability? Similarly, somebody who's on disability, they can't really just, or somebody who's disabled, they can't really just come out and say it. They can, but then they had a law system. They, as in white folks, had a system set up, you know, where they can get sued and all that. It's all a facade, trying to make it seem like they're all inclusive. But the thing is, a disabled person, they would have a sketchy work history that screens them out. They do all that. They use all that work history. Yeah, you white people, y'all use that work history. I'm calling y'all out because you guys think you're clever. Yeah, you clever to some, you're clever to many, and you're clever to most. But I've been studying the system of white supremacy, and I've been taught by some of our black teachers like Mr. Nathan Fuller Jr. and Dr. Francis Boyce Relson. You put us up on to you people, man. How you get down, how you weave intricate plots, and how you scheme with your laws and rules. See, a lot of black people don't catch it because they look at it at the surface level. You got to connect the dots, like with the disability and black people's circumstances put us in situations where our work history is sketchy, and they hold to the letter of that 10-year work history. Or they may arbitrarily say 5 years or 3 years. Anything that you're not qualified of, they would say 3 years, knowing that you don't have a strong 2 or 1 year work history. See the games they play, black people talking to y'all, and they say there's no racism. Yeah, they masking it. It's masked. And black people, you need to stop underestimating how white people think and operate. They're very clever and cunning. And that clever and cunning shows when you don't know what the hell is going on. You will feel it. We all feel a discrimination, and we know something is wrong, but we can't quite pinpoint. Like, man, this don't make no sense, man. You seem like you know, your intuition, your God-given intuition is telling you something is wrong. But these white people at the job you're trying to get with, they're doing something to you. You just can't explain it. But I'm gonna explain this. I just explained some of it. They have little schemes, man, deceptive schemes, forms and ways of weeding us out, us black people out. And they can weed out some of their own, some undesirable white people that they might think is bottom rung. But mainly that stuff is for us, black people, of FBA descent, of American slave descent on the North American soil. They don't really, they have something against us in particular. Us type of black people. They allow some black foreigners in because a lot of them are just thankful to be over here. They kiss a lot of white ass by default. See, over here, the black spirit, we have resistance in us, and they don't really like being around us because they want somebody to fuck over. But that's all right, folks. That's all it. That's it for this segment. Just keep your mind focused like a laser out here.